This thing is a bear. I've absolutely freaking had it with this thing. I'm done with it. I'm leaving it here. That's right. Welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. While I ditch this freaking thing, I've had it. Because I'm hauling oil today. You didn't think I was really just gonna leave my buggy, did you? You didn't think I was just gonna leave my buggy here, did you? Come on now, you know better than that. I need to find my plugs for my hydraulic lines. There they are. All right, and now, oh, train. Just for my youngest boy, loves trains. You got to disconnect everything. I'm gonna walk over there, figure out which trailer I'm gonna get. They just said grab one, so I'll do that. I got to get a load on and head to a little town near Weatherford, Oklahoma. I'm down here in our oil yard in Lawton. All right. Okay, I'm gonna have one go at this. So I'm gonna come over here, thump on a couple of these and see which one I want to take. Of course, I'm looking for an air ride trailer. There's a couple of them, air ride. These with the lines like this are pump trailers. I'd rather not take a pump trailer because then I got to jack with the hydraulic lines. This looks like an air ride trailer. Again, it's got hydraulic lines, spring ride. It may be a spring ride. I'm not gonna take a pump trailer just because it has air ride. This one's got air ride, not a pump. That one's also got air ride, but it's a pump. All right, so I brought my thumper. Those are all good. All right, I think this trailer will do. Wish I could see the gauge. Of course, it's a double wall, so I'm not gonna be able to tell if it's loaded or not until I climb on the top of it. Let me go get my gloves. But I think I'm gonna back up in front of this one, 3029, and take it, because again, I'm not gonna take one with a pump. Of course, this pump's in pieces. Must be trying to thaw it out, so to speak. I mean, it's probably got oil stuck in it, and they got to lube her back up. So anyway, I think 3029 is our buggy. Let's get over there and get her hitched up. All right, I'm almost hitched up to it. Just gonna make sure she's empty. She is good to go. I'm not gonna latch it because I'm literally going right there to load it. All right, so now I'm like almost there, but I think she's just a touch high. Lower her down that way. As I finish getting all the way under it, it'll be where I need it to be. If I had more time, I'd have probably used the yard dog to do this, but I don't. I just don't have the time. rest. All right, we're good. Yep, she's seated. 3029. All right, I'm gonna finish doing the rest of this and we'll get over there and get started, get loaded. Okay, they want me on rack 2, which is the clearly labeled one, rack 2, in between racks 1 and 3 respectively. And that sign is hanging down a little bit that says hard hat area. Hopefully we don't hit it. But I'm also gonna wait on that old boy up there on top of that truck to come down here and tell me where I need to be. So we're gonna let them load this dude up and we'll get on down the road. Well, just kidding. Not not delivering an oil load today. So that was kind of a weird deal. It's hard to tell right now. Like if you look out there, yeah, it's hazy and gloomy and all that, like, you know, kind of overcast, but like it's darker that way. And we'll talk to you later, bud. I don't know who that is. Anyway, it's kind of dark up there. Well, about 100 miles or so that way north was where my delivery went, and so they canceled my load while I was loading it. So anyway, that's gonna be one of those deals where, you know, we just did it for practice. Woo! Dusty. You know what, we're gonna be a gentleman and we're gonna back that up just a little bit further, 2 or 3 inches or so. But yeah, that's it's kind of the nature of it sometimes, you know. We're oh, both brakes, James. All right, that'll work. Okay. It's just the nature of it sometimes. Cancel the load, you know, due to weather. It is what it is, you know. My next mission is going to be to grab back a hold of my bottle, and I'm going to go to Chandler to our yard, grab what's called a hot trailer. Like, these are wet. See, there's no placard for hot. This elevated temperature is hot. I'm going to grab a wet trailer and bring them a hot load back down here. So at least it's not for naught, because I mean, I drove drove quite a ways to get here, you know. So to have the load cancel, at least something will come out of it. But you know what, like, that's trucking, right? That is trucking. That is trucking. I know this doesn't look organized. I know where everything is. Okay, let's see if this will release. Good to go. I'm gonna drop these bags. And then lower the gear. Make sure I'm released. I am. Probably good there. All right. Just making sure everything's good, closed, all that good stuff. But yeah, we'll go back over there and attach a hold of the buggy, get it down to Chandler, swap out for a hot trailer, and then go load that dude. So let's reconvene here in a little while. All right. We're approaching the port where I need to get my load. Let's see what's going on down in here today. Got our hot trailer on, all swapped out at the yard, and just getting to the place where I need to load. Looks pretty busy right now with grain haulers, but to be honest with you, that's typical, especially this time of year. What was it? Last summer we were here, so doesn't look like much has changed. Doing some mowing today. This spread does not have an axle lift by the switch. It has an axle lift like in a small box in between the two axles, but it's just to lift up the rear axle, again, to pivot it, but it's not like one that you can operate when you're driving. So you really only want to use that when you're empty. And I mean, again, it puts all the weight on the front axle, like it completely lifts off the ground, you know what I mean? It'll have a pretty good sized gap, but I don't know that you really want to drive it like that. Just, it bounces quite a bit on that front axle, you know, whereas if you put both of them on the ground, it rides pretty darn smooth. So, I mean, truth be told, I think it's really like, it's just there for tight spaces. You know, I have a YouTube short of me kind of spinning it around in our oil yard last summer, but yeah, it's not one that you can operate on the switch. So, and if you're just now noticing, I moved my my iPad with my ELD on it. It was down here, kind of attached to this magnet down in the cup holder, and I've got a mount that goes behind the dash and holds it. And I'll be honest with you, like I love it up here. It's in view for me, it's in view for the officers whenever I get stopped. But I think like the main thing is just making sure nobody's coming. Sometimes there's like pickup trucks that will like fly through this thing, like worker trucks. But I think having the iPad up here, just, you know, again, I like it up here. It frees up my cup holder, makes it more visible, more accessible for sure. I mean, not that it was hard to get down there, but anyway. So they're still doing bridge work. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but one of these bridges is completely out. So there you go, that's a pretty good view of it. Still completely out. Looks like quite a few empty cans out here right now. Oh, where's this guy going? Why is he running with a wheelbarrow? Okay, just getting across the road. All right, I wasn't gonna hit you. I ain't like the rest of these guys. Oh, looks like they had a mess. It happens. So you got coal coming in and out, you got grain going in and out, and they got all kinds of silos and all kinds of stuff down here. All right, we got a truck coming off. I don't know if I didn't get the memo or what, but the These guys are going in a different direction than I'm used to. I'm used to going this way, and they're going the other way, which, to be honest with you, might have been a better idea, considering this thing's sitting in the way. But I think I can make it. I think I had that cleared also, but I'm not going to chance it. It's only by a couple of feet. Yeah, my trailer ABS is coming on now because I got the rear axle lifted just to get into this area right here, which again is probably why those trucks were going the other way. So good on them, but I'm going to try it anyway. I think with that axle lifted, it should carry the way that I need it to. It's gonna be tight. We made it. Just got inside that yellow pole. So yeah, I think if that guy's still here, I think if that guy's still here, whenever I come back around loaded, then I'll come back this way, which is going to be kind of a tight turn being loaded, but that's all right. So get into this scale house, get my empty weight, get over there, get on the rack, get loaded. Got all of our scale stuff entered on here. Our empty weight, and then the information from my dispatch put on here. So now we'll just take this to the office and let them know we need some product. Looks like he's already up on the rack. That's a great sign. Great sign. So we'll scoot on over there and get this dude loaded up. I got a pickup truck coming up on my right here. I'll let them go by. I'm gonna nose up to the water, and then we're gonna back up into this hole right here. As I can get. Without going over. Get all that close. He might have me move over. Well, guess not. We'll call that good. Get this dude loaded up. Be on our way. All right, I got my way out, but I'm too long for this scale, so Thankfully, the scale on the other end is big enough. So what I'm gonna end up having to do is scale in and out on their scale. Normally we just pull straight in there and unload. We just use the scale in and out on this side, but with me being too long, I just need to make sure it's accurate. I mean, for two reasons, right? Number one, their amount of product, and number two, our transport costs. So I'll have to get with them here in just a minute and let them know, like, look, you know, I don't fit on your scale, so go with the numbers that you see right now, but you know, we're gonna have to verify on the other end, because I may be more, I may be less. I mean, it's hard to tell. Like, my back tire was right on the seam, my front tire was right on the seam, and there's like these little rubber thresholds, you know, that kind of keep the debris and the water or whatever out right there at the seam of you getting, I guess it's more for debris than anything. You know, so stuff doesn't get bound up in the scale right there on the edges. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to do that and we'll go from there. Go get my paperwork, and this thing still isn't resetting, so I'm gonna pull the electrical cord and then reset it myself. I was hoping that with me putting the axle down it would fix, but clearly it's not. So back in a minute. All right, so resetting the pigtail worked like a charm, like I figured it would. I think sometimes it just gets stored in the computer in there, and you know, it's all flustered. But yeah, so they're more concerned with my inability to get an accurate weight than I am. They told me, like, they have audits, and if they're more than like so many gallons a day off, they have to get with accounting or something. I don't know. I just work here. It's hotter than crap, so I'm gonna have to kick this on. Normally in like super dusty areas, I try to limit the amount of air conditioning use, just because I don't want to throw up a bunch of dust. But I've got to follow this guy, and so we're gonna go down here a little ways to a different scale, and yeah, they think that it's bigger, so we'll try that out and compare it to the readings that I got. So I did like a centered up reading, then I did a axle or a steering axle off reading and a trailer axle off reading, like a split way, and I think they're still concerned. So yeah, that's where we're at. I mean, there's been a couple of places that, you know, I recall doing split ways, so you know, I wasn't too concerned with it. But again, it's their show. I just work here. We'll get up on this scale up here and see if we can't get a better reading for them, and for me, obviously. Like I said, I mean, the concern for me is, you know, if we get paid on this by the ton, and so obviously I want to be accurate on how many tons I have on. I got my empty weight, and I was able to lift that rear axle and keep it off the scale or off the concrete, so it was no big deal. But once it was time to get my, you know, loaded weight, that's where the issues were. So looks like we're gonna have plenty of room to turn around in here as well, so that's cool. A little bit of a hump. There we go. Trying to keep it smooth right here by the scale, you know, that way when you get up here, it's outbound trucks have the right of way. I'm just going to use this side, so let me jump in here and find out what's going on. Okay, this scale was much bigger, and to be honest with you, there was a difference, so it warrants coming down here and doing this for sure. And to be honest with you, probably have to do this in the future. Hey! Okay, hang on there. Trash truck. Busy down here. Trying not to like hardcore U-turn this thing since I can't lift that rear axle. Trying to be easy on it. I mean, I hauled flatbed for years with a spread, and there was no way that I could, you know, raise, lower the axles, etc. It just kind of was what it was, but all right. So we'll go down here, we'll get our proper paperwork, and we will get on our way. But yeah, this is gonna be good to know. Inbound, I can come in and use the normal scale, which, I mean, honestly, I have to anyway. That's where the paperwork is. And with me being able to lift that rear axle, that's gonna be, you know, pretty much like par for the course for me. And then having to come over here to scale out, a little bit of a kind of hiccup, if you will. Like, it's not that big of a deal, to be honest with you. The lady in there was super nice, so, you know, it all works out in the end. You know, I asked her, like, you know, is it gonna be okay that I come over here and do this like in the future? And see, this place is owned by one company. Oakley owns this whole thing, and so I think that's who she works for. And so, to be honest with you, like, she's taking care of the entire place, you know, like, doesn't really matter what I'm doing. If I need to scale in and scale out, you know, she's okay with that, because again, like, the people that I'm hauling this out of here for are paying to be here. So, you know, it's a shared space. It's shared space. So that works out. Oh, I didn't even realize these folks had a scale. I kept watching for trucks going 100 miles an hour across here. See, you don't have a stop sign coming out, but that's probably because it's, you know, it's an uphill. And they want to get you out of here. Like, keep it moving, folks, keep it moving. So anyway, I'm gonna get down here, we'll get our paperwork, and let's get on the road. A coworker and mine were talking about something that's pretty interesting, and so I think it's very relevant to the channel, not just because it's like what I'm doing at the moment, but also because it's like, it's, you know, it's trucking related. But, you know, we got to talking, and I think it's quite interesting that, you know, this trailer is placarded, right? It's hot, so elevated temperature. The UN number is 3257, and that's that. It's a placarded trailer. But when you look at the bill of lading, lists nothing about hazardous material. There's no HM, there's no X, there's no packing group, no, you know, none of that. None of that was on the bill of lading. And, you know, for a while now, we've been kind of talking back and forth about, is hot oil, asphalt, actually hazardous material? And honestly, like, the consensus in the beginning was no. Well, I shouldn't say it that way. Let me back up. The consensus was yes, except that buddy of mine has friends that haul nothing but asphalt. That person doesn't even have a hazardous material endorsement. Doesn't even have the hazmat endorsement. Okay? Has been stopped, has been inspected, has gotten tickets for different stuff. Never once said anything about not having the hazmat endorsement on their license. Okay? If it was once, I could say, okay, maybe it was an oversight by the officer. But multiple times, no, that's not an oversight. There's something there, right? So I got to looking, of course, Google it, but I'm not just gonna trust any website. Like, this is, you know, like, your license is on the line, there's fines involved, like there's a whole thing, right? And so I Googled it, but only clicked on the FMCSA website. Clicked on it, scrolled down through the verbiage, and it basically says you are forbidden from crossing railroads without stopping more than 15, less than 50 feet if you're carrying the following. And it lists all the things that you must stop for. 3257 is not listed on there. And then it goes on to say, here's where you're exempt. 3257 isn't even listed there either, which means it's not a hazardous material at all. So why was I stopping at railroad crossings? Well, to answer you easily, it was placarded. It's placarded. So got to looking a little bit deeper at that, and something else we kind of came to the consensus of was like, okay, why are we placarding this if it's not hazardous material? This I had to go to a different website for, because unfortunately it just was not like readily available on the FMCSA website. But I got it from a website that basically kind of cites itself as being one of the top like safety websites, and they do seminars and stuff like that for FMCSA stuff. And so what I basically kind of found out there is it flat out says it's kind of like you're doing people a solid, you know. It's like, you're required to do this, but you know, if you just kind of want to like warn the public and be, you know, an outstanding citizen, you can put placards on it. You're not required to do so. And so I found that very interesting. That's like, because there's all these trailers, and I mean, here's the thing that really got me questioning this, I'll be honest with you. I was sitting in an intersection one day and I watched a trailer go by. I had my propane bottle on and I watched a hot trailer go by, and they never even slowed down for the railroad tracks. Of course, they were flat, they were smooth, there was no reason to slow down at all. It wasn't like they were like, oh shit, you know, oh, sorry, I'm not gonna make this stop. You know, it flat out, they didn't even let off the accelerator. You know, they were moving, they were going. And yeah, at that point I was like, wait a minute, did that guy really just blow the crossing? And then that's when I kind of started looking into it, because it's like, I got one buddy telling me that you don't have to have it, I got a guy in front of me blowing an intersection, and now I've got a bill of lading that's, you know, not even listing a hazardous material. And so, you know, I get onto the FMCSA website, and long story long, it's not even listed. So there you go. 3257 appears, do not take my word for it, I'm not giving legal or illegal advice. 3257 appears to not have to stop for railroad crossing. So if you have experience with that and you're seeing this video, leave a comment down below. I would love to hear a little bit more of an explanation on this, or kind of your insight or experience with it. So yeah, that's that. Okay, that is a wrap on the hot load. I'm out of here. I gotta run this buggy back to Chandler and grab my propane trailer, I guess. Honestly, I'll probably find out what I'm doing next there. Don't have anything on my dispatch as of right now, which, I mean, that's fine. It's 1:30 in the afternoon. That's kind of typical for this time of day, unless it's like super busy, which it's not at the moment in time. So, you know, it's a brisk 102 out. So there's that. Just kidding. It's black truck sitting stagnant, you know, unloading. It just high temperature, but it'll cool down once we get going. It's like 80. Anyway, that was kind of that. Something a little different. But appreciate y'all tuning in for this one. Don't forget to reach down there, hit that like button before you go, and smash that subscribe button so that you get notified whenever I go live or post any more new content. Trying not to hit my stacks. Man, that's sketchy. I'm gonna take a look-see just to see, because that is sketchy. Look at how close I am to that bucket. Man, buddy. That bucket is protecting the tube that's in it from dripping material onto us. There's oil on it, so I'm trying to keep from getting it on the stacks, but... And these stacks are not even as tall like as some other people's stacks. Like even the stacks that I had on the orange truck were shorter, were taller than these. So, you know, it's just one of them deals. But yeah, anyway, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for liking the video. And as always, y'all keep between the mayonnaise and the mustard. Till next time, take care.